And I just come into the house, and I take my shoes off in the hallway, and there was a knock on the door. Just and I've got a bell in any case, but there was a knock. And so I opened the door, and it's just this fellow was standing there. And he says, "Do you know where Tony is?" I says, "Well, I haven't got a clue. I don't know where he is." He said, "Oh," he said, "I'm a friend of Tony's." He said, "I've just been on the phone with him." And he said, "It'd only be 5 minutes." I says, "Oh, well." So I should have thought then, but I didn't. And so he invited himself in. And he was walking along the hallway. He said, "Oh," he says, "have you got an envelope I could borrow?" I says, "Yeah." But the bedroom's on the right-hand side as you go before you get into the lounge. So I went in there. So I got 2 envelopes because I didn't know what size I wanted. So when I'm back in the lounge, he's sitting there. I says, "What size do you want?" He said, "Oh, anyone will do, you know." So just put them on the table. And he says, "Well, we'll have a coffee each, okay?" I says, "Yeah, okay." So I went in the kitchenette to make a coffee, and he says, he shouted through, "3 sugars, please." I thought to myself, 3 sugars? That's going to take a bit of time, that. It's taking more time than what is for 1 sugar or a sweetener. And he says, "Oh," he says, "I'm just going next door to Tony's." He said, "I've put this through his letterbox." And he says, "I'll come back in and wait, because he could be home by now." So he said, "It'll be a couple of seconds." So he went out, and that was it. And I looked where I took my money on this little table by the window, and I realised it was gone then straight away.
Well, you can see from Ronald's story what an absolute terrible set of circumstances these are. These criminals are the worst form of criminals because they're preying on the most vulnerable members of our communities. People who are elderly, they're infirm, or they can't see or hear particularly well, and they're going into the houses with all these distraction stories around, whether it's bits of paper, cups of coffee, or neighbours or friends. And it's all lies, it's all made up. And the moment that someone's back's turned, you're in the kitchen, this is what's happening. They're going through drawers, handbags, tables, wardrobes, anything, to steal normally money, but money in treasured possessions. Sometimes, you know, it's life savings, it's awful. People do keep an awful lot of money in the house, and we'd rather they didn't. Try and get it in the bank, make it safe. And it's kind of about relatives, friends, carers, neighbours, keeping an eye on people and popping round, making sure you know they're all right and that things are okay. Very difficult sometimes to say no to strangers at the door.
Yeah, exactly,
But if they are strangers, don't let them in. No. Just don't. If it's the real people, if it's people from the gas, the electricity, the water, or the police, or the health service, they've got a real reason for being there, and they will come back, or they'll be in touch, and they'll make arrangements to come round. They'll always have identification. That's right. These people don't, and that's what they seek to advantage these vulnerable people, and it's terrible. Well, we're raising awareness, that's the first point, because we need to protect victims so that we get no more if we can. Secondly, in terms of an investigation, we have Operation Strongbow that particularly focuses upon these types of offenders. We have good intelligence networks, not just in the force here, but across the country. And we share information and intelligence about their descriptions, about the way they operate, about what they do, the vehicles they use, whether it's a pedal bike or a vehicle, a car, a van. And we try and catch them that way. We've got forensic opportunities if they're touching bits of paper, things like that. So there's lots of things that we do, and we try and get the cases matched so that the similarities between them all give us a better chance of catching them.